Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the Microsoft stock. We're going to try to figure out where might this stock land for a good entry. And people are asking questions about why is it even downtrending. So you can do a lot of fundamental research these days using ChatGPT, Claude, and other AI tools. But where rubber really meets the road is understanding the technicals. If you've been investing for last 3 years or 5 years, you probably have seen companies with amazing fundamentals who are stuck in the same range for a year, 2 years before they finally either go lower or they break out. So that's what we're going to do with the Microsoft stock today. With that being said, let's look at this weekly chart on Microsoft and let me draw a very clear pivot that I have seen for a very long time on Microsoft. This goes back to 2021 when we created this peak coming out of the COVID timeframe. As you can see, the COVID drop, then this peak, and then we went into the bear market of 2022. Notice that we tried to break out of it again later in the year in 2023, pulled back, and finally broke above it. Now, the good thing is that the market came back to retest this level. We did it once, we did it twice, and we're doing it again, and it is holding really well. But that is not our problem. That's a good thing, obviously. But our issue is that the market is not letting it go higher. Why is that happening, right? Let me draw another level here right around 460, 465. Notice that the market rejected this once in 2024. We came down, retested the major level, pushed back up again, and at that time we had enough strength to break above this previous high and then come back and retest right around here. Now, here's where I want you to pause and understand something. If we held this level and bounced back up again, we could have created another stair-stepping level just like this one, because we created two highs here, broke above it, came back to retest 350, and then went higher. And we could have done this here again. But what happened is that we got this massive green weekly candle, went sideways, and then dropped right under it. This shows that the buyers tried to push it higher, but the stock doesn't have enough strength to keep going higher. So once we flushed lower, notice that we came back to the similar levels of about 350, 360 area, bounced again, but at this time we also had a support of the 200 weekly simple moving average. We bounced on this in 2022, we came very close to it in 2025, and this time we went under it a little bit but then found support and pushed up higher. Now notice again, let me zoom in a little bit more here. What do we see here? Another rejection at 460. Now, here's the problem with this, right? The market tried to break this level multiple times and it's not breaking out above it. That means that the sellers are sitting strong at 460 and above. Even when we did break above it, the sellers pushed it lower and the stock just doesn't have enough strength to go up. What do we need now? We need enough buyers to push the stock back above 460. Then we need a retest of 460 to 450 area, and then we need the buyers to be strong enough to continue to push this higher. Because let me move the stock a little to the left here so that I can explain this better. We need something of this type of price action so we can find strength here and then continue higher. But obviously market is not giving us this opportunity and we have rejected back lower, and right now we are underneath the same 200 weekly moving average that was the support back in the day. Now notice this particular setup is very similar to what we had over here. Now what I think is going to happen is we might go sideways just like this and then reject and finally break below 350 level. Because if we don't have enough buyers in this area and market keeps tapping into the support level, that usually means that we need to go lower on the price discovery mode a little bit and go find more buyers. And if we can't find enough buyers at 350 to 360 zone, we're gonna go lower to find those buyers. Which brings me to my next level, which is about $310 area. Now, the reason I think this might be a great area of support is because we had this previous swing level, and if the market can just reject back down here a little bit, scare people out, flush out the old longs which have been sitting there for 2 years and capture new buyers, the market might find the strength to finally go back up. And in my opinion, that's not even that crazy, because at this level, we'll be sitting at about a forward PE ratio of roughly 18 to 19. And that is not too crazy. I know it's a lot lower for a mega cap, but these things happen. And especially with the scare that the market is feeling with the software industry, I don't think that is unreasonable. The next level lower becomes this $215 area, and obviously this is a little too crazy to ask for, but in a AI bubble pop where Nasdaq draws down about 40-50%, there is a scenario where Microsoft does go below 215, and that puts us at the forward PE ratio of about, I think, 12 roughly, depending on which numbers you take. I personally do not see a scenario right now where Microsoft needs to get below 215, but I do want you to understand that in a scenario where there's so much unknown with the capex spend, where will the AI profitability land, what will Copilot and AI monetization look like, those scenarios can create a situation where the stock comes down a lot lower than we can expect. Earnings and margins can take a hit on the way down, which can make this thing very bloody. And if you think that is too much and too aggressive, you guys all need to remember what happened to Meta in 2022. We came all the way down to forward PE of 8, under $100, all the way from close to 400, and this was almost a 70 or 80% drawdown. So remember that when you're thinking about extremes. But as far as currently right now, I think a great entry under 310 would be the best scenario for the stock. And I don't want to be repetitive here, but understand that if we cannot find buyers around 450 area and we keep getting rejected here, there is no case scenario where, well, unless there's some crazy fundamental increases due to AI, other than that, there's no case scenario where the MSFT stock breaks out above this level. We need to flush out the old longs, the people who've been holding the stock. We need them to get frustrated, exit, and then the big money will come in. If I'm watching this level as a retail trader, I'm sure larger funds will see this as an opportunity to enter Microsoft, and that will give us enough boost and enough buyers to push the stock all the way back up. Now, let's take another look at it from a Fibonacci level. Let's say if we take this 212 as the previous bottom, sketch this all the way out to the highs. Also notice that the 78.6% fib level, which is one of the best levels I think we can enter on a pullback, is also landing around 310 and below. In this case scenario, it says 285, 286 level. So usually what happens is we're not going to land exactly at 310. We're going to flush under it, push hard with a big wick or a large red candle, and then start to make our way back up. This is just my analysis on this chart. I do not understand why people won't have the patience to wait for extremely oversold levels. If you're just going to buy stocks at like medium fundamental areas where like the stock looks good and we should just dollar cost average in, why not just dollar cost average into Nasdaq index or SPY index and call it a day? You would compound so much more wealth over the years instead of stock picking. So if you are stock picking, understand that you need to learn these fundamentals and you need to find places where liquidity is flushed out so you can find the absolute best stocks in the market. I'll give you another example that I recently picked up on, was this Oscar stock. I've been watching the stock for over almost 1.5 years since it hit these levels in 2024, and I finally entered it exactly at $11 here and sold into this strength. And this was just the last big trade I have. And if you're not looking for oversold levels like this and understanding the technicals, what are you even doing? So with that being said, I hope you found value in this video. Please leave a like, comment if you want to, and subscribe to the channel. I will catch you in the next one. Thank you.